I'm standing here outside of Canada Sports Hall of Fame, looking to get a little bit of inspiration before the big race. Welcome to the Sinister 7 100-mile race.
Celebrating its 10-year anniversary, the Sinister 7 Ultra Trail Race takes place in the area around Crow's Nest Pass, Alberta. It gets its name from the Seven Sisters Mountains, as you can see in this image, and consists of 7 legs. The race can be done either as a solo or as a team relay, but either way, it's a tough race. Due to the beautiful area, I decided to camp out near the finish line along with other racers before making my way to the registration, where we picked up our swag bags as well as experienced the race expo. This was also the opportunity to drop off your transition bags if you're racing solo. This would give you any food and clothing that you might want during race.
So really, I'll take any advantage I can get for a race like this. So right now I've got my legs in these lovely compression boots that are actually going to help flush out all the stuff from my legs so that I can start tomorrow morning completely fresh.
To further help racers prepare for the big day, race organizers put on a huge spread of food for the pre-race briefing, where all the participants and support crews gathered around to get final course instructions and learn all about the event.
For the runners, I think we provide an extraordinarily challenging course, something that really beats people up, and they love it and they hate it, and I think it's really pushed a lot of people to try hard in their running.
We're here about 10 minutes before the start of the big race. Everyone's doing their final preparations. It's going to be a hot day and a long one out there, but we're going to have some fun on the trails. So the start is underway and we're flying through the gate now.
The race got underway promptly at 7 a.m. and all participants have a time limit of 30 hours to complete it.
Over here on the side, you can see the Frank slide. Canada's most deadly rock slide ever. We're about to run through the rock fall up here ahead.
Although leg 1 was one of the shorter and one of the easier stages of the entire race, it still had a number of challenges for racers to face. The whole idea of this was to introduce us to the type of terrain we'd be traversing and show us the kind of climbing we'd have to do. But in fact, some of those ridge runs were the most beautiful I experienced during the course of the race myself. We were racing under clear blue skies and temperatures were already starting to climb. On stage 1, it was important for solo racers to figure out the pacing to make sure they didn't go out too hard and burn out too early.
It's coming in the end of leg 1. Do a quick change over here. Arriving into the aid station here, get some food, some drink, and then head her back out as quick as I can.
Leg 2 was another moderate distance leg, but featured a lot more climbing, which would be the hallmark of the rest of the course. Before the race, I actually asked race director Brian Gallant to describe some of his favorite parts of the course.
There's a lot of great views on this course. My favorite leg personally is leg 2 because it combines all the kinds of running that I like. Lots of open areas that are high up and windy, then a lot of single track.
So I'm up here high at the top of leg 2, about 24K into the race. Got these gorgeous views and this is what makes it all worth it. It's like a long day of racing in this heat, so I gotta get going down the trail.
Speaking of heat, I actually asked Brian what he thought the finish rate would be given the high temperatures that were forecast for the race.
You know, last time we had this kind of heat, we had about a 25% finish rate. And so with a lot of novice runners and with that heat, I think we're going to see something similar. You always hope for more, and people always surprise me, which is great. I never guess ahead of time, but you know, I think it's going to be a low finish rate this year.
To save you the suspense, this year's finish rate was somewhere around 18%, which is the lowest it's ever been. So you can imagine just how difficult the race was for most participants. However, spirits were kept high through the amazingly well-organized race from start to finish, including amply stocked aid stations with lots of food and drinks to keep us going on our way.
I just finished my transition, grabbed some food to eat, about to head out on leg 3, which is one of the longest ones. It's almost noon, so it's going to be pretty hot out there.
Leg 3, rated as a 6 out of 7, is considered by many to be the make or break leg of the race because it takes part in the hottest part of the day and is one of the longest on the race.
So given the heat of the day, when you get the option of road or a water crossing where you can cool off, take the water crossing. Luckily on the longer legs, we get some checkpoints at the midpoints so that we can refill on our fluids and make sure that we're doing all right for the next legs.
Proper hydration and nutrition were two of the key aspects of this race, as many of the participants who had to drop out did so thanks to dehydration or the inability to process food.
Just left the checkpoint over there. It's been a pretty hot stage so far. At least we got the good views over in the mountains. It's always a little bit hard to get going again when you took a little pause.
As you can see, the views were spectacular, and we were running in fairly remote territory.
So this is what the inside of a 100-miler looks like. We feel broken, and these creeks are like heaven. We douse ourselves with water and just keep going on because there's nothing else to do.
One of the most rewarding aspects of an ultra trail run are the highs and lows that you go through. 1 minute you can be feeling like you can't go another step, and the next you can break back into a run and enjoy the scenery around you. And of course, when you finally made your way to a transition area, you always were able to find that extra little bit of energy to cross with a smile.
Ready?
Yeah.
You have got nuts of steel.
I feel nothing. So here in the transition area, just getting some food, getting some first aid, and still pretty hot out, but made it with an hour to spare before cutoff, so should be good to keep going. So I just wrapped up the TA. About to head out on leg 4, all bandaged up, got some food. Let's keep going.
One of the challenges of racing as a solo self-supported racer is the fact that you don't have anyone around at the transitions to help you with your food and your belongings. As you can see, I was limited to grabbing whatever I could find, which in my case was mainly peanut butter sandwiches. Leg 4 had been modified from previous years, and it was a bit tougher, but there were some upsides.
Leg 4 has some beautiful views now. Great views around Star Creek Falls.
Regardless of the views, the race was taking a toll on participants, and the crowds had thinned out.
Well, I'm here basically at the midway point, and it's been a really hard day. Unfortunately, I'm going to pull the plug, and I'm only going to be half a sinner this year. But it was a pretty good ride so far.
The upside was the fact that I could go to the finish line through the night and throughout the morning to watch more people finish and interview them as they came over the line.
It's the best part though, right?
The glory of running 160K.
There you go. Nice.
It's a brutal race. Brutal. You think that this leg it's tough? No, the other one will be more tough.
That was my hardest fought finish, I think, for sure. So tough course, and even harder on a heart when it's a bad day for you.
Well, I suffered for the first 4 legs, and then I was able to have a friend who gave me some sleeves, and then I put on a buff and a hat, and that made a world of difference.
Thanks to the strong attention to detail from start to finish, regardless of how you completed the event, everyone agreed it was a well-run event and would definitely come back in future years.
Well, that does it for me from this year's Sinister 7 Ultra Trail Race. They're packing things up now, but you can bet they'll be back next year to put on another great show.